Hello everyone, welcome to my channel AI Game Junction. In this series of videos, we are creating an AI bot from scratch for Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition. Let's quickly recap what we learned in the last video. In the last video, we learned how to modularize your code base by splitting all the different logic, your AI logic and your AI script into different files. We also saw how to load your files conditionally depending on different match settings such as your civilization selected. Feel free to go to the previous video in the playlist and check it out, and I will also be adding a link in the description below. Alright, moving on to today's video. In today's video, we are going to be talking about goals, the importance of goals, how to use goals, how to use goals as commands, how to use goals as facts, etc. So let's dive straight into it. Alright, so before we get into the implementation, let's talk about goals in a more practical sense, right? So when you think of an AI strategy, right, think of a strategy as a collection of goals or milestones that you want to achieve. This makes your logic much more manageable and much more understandable and readable as well. Like, let's take an actual example, right? So let's say the map that you have selected is arena. In that case, the first goal that you might want to set is, let's say, that of a fast castle. So then all your logic is going to be aligned to that goal until that goal is achieved. So let's say in this scenario of a fast castle, you will delay your clicking up to the feudal age so that you can gather enough resources to minimize your time of your castle age. Let's say if you're not playing on arena and you're playing on Arabia, right? In that case, let's say your strategy would be fast feudal and then go into a scout rush or an archer rush, because it's a much more open map. Let's coming back to the arena example. Let's say you're on arena and let's say you have achieved your first goal of fast castle. Now next set of goals can again depend on different circumstances and match settings. So for example, let's say you're playing Lithuanians, you might want to set up your next goal as capturing all the relics as soon as possible, because Lithuanians have a bonus attack on all the knights based on the number of relics captured. Let's say instead of that you have Portuguese or you have Spanish. In that case, you might want to go for a castle drop followed by organ guns or conquistadors. Or let's say you are Franks. In that case, you might want to go knights and siege for your push. So as you can see, if you break down your entire strategy into smaller milestones, then it becomes much easier to tweak the logic and to achieve your overall goal of winning the game in a much more easier fashion, right? So with that, let's go to our scripting guide so that we can learn more about goals. Okay, so this is a scripting guide. I will be adding a link of this in the description below, so feel free to check it out. Let's go to commands. We want to learn about goals. As you can see over here, the two main commands related to goals are goal and set goal. These are the basic commands required. As you can see over here, goal is a fact and set goal is an action, right? So a set goal can be used within the command section or an action section of a rule, and a goal can be used in the fact section of a rule, which is also your if conditions, right? So let's dive slightly more deeper into set goal. As you can see over here, even the documentation states that this is one of the most important concepts, right? Goals are one of the most important concepts of AI scripting. So let's try to understand what is a goal first of all before we get into set goal and goal commands, right? In a programming language, essentially goals are nothing but an array of 512 integers. All of these values are pre-initialized to -1. What this also means is that in the entire game, you cannot go beyond this. New goals or variables cannot be defined. AI scripters are limited to only 512 goals. This is really important. So it is very important that we use our goals more sparingly. But in simpler terms, think of these goals as variables which you can use in your logic. And for that, you have an array of 512 integer values, right? If we look at goal ID over here, it can carry values from 1 to 512. So think of how do you read this set goal command? Right. So when you use the set goal command and goal ID, the goal ID is, think of it as the index of the array. So when you say set goal 10 5, what it means is that the 10th value or 10th index in the array, you need to set the value to 5. It is important, unlike your programming arrays, it is important to note that your goals start from 1 and not from 0. Right. So here it helps you to set the goal. Coming back to your fact. So let's say in the last example, we said that you set the goal at index 10 to 5. Over here, you can check what is the value at my index of the array and compare it with 5. So this fact will turn true if my value at index 10 is equal to 5. And if not, it will be false. Alright, so that is more about the theoretical knowledge about goals. Let us put in action and let's go back to our script editor. Alright, so let's try to implement a scenario that we spoke about earlier, right? So the scenario is we will set strategy to fast castle in arena and to a feudal rush, let's say, in Arabia. Let's see how to do this. So before we can actually use goals, it is very important to define the goals in the form of variables or constants so that it becomes much more readable, right? So just to give an example, when we looked at the set goal command, it can also look something like this. But then you can imagine the nightmare that this would set when you have like multiple rules and thousands, hundreds and thousands of rules. This would become pretty much unreadable. So to solve that problem, we will define constants, right? So let's say the name of our goal is early strategy, right? So we are defining a constant called GL early strategy, and we are saying that we will take the first index of the 512 indices that are available in our goals array, right? So we are saying that the first index can be referred to as our early strategy goal, right? Now to set the values of the goal also, we will define two more constant values, and that is fast castle, right, and def const feudal rush 2, right? So we will see how to use this. Okay, coming back to the previous example, we want to check which map has been loaded, and based on that we will set a strategy to either fast castle or feudal rush. So to do that, we will be using the load if symbols as we had spoken about in our previous video. Let's do that. So we will be checking if load if defined, and in this scenario we want to check if the map loaded is an arena map. So arena map, right? In this scenario we want to define a rule. Of course, since we have already checked for the condition, we will be setting the condition of this rule as true. Over here, we will be setting the goal GL early strategy to fast castle. The way to read this is set goal GL early strategy, the value of that is 1, and fast castle also the value of this is 1. So what we are saying is that from the array index of from the array of 512 integers, we are saying that take the element at the first index and set the value to 1. Instead of this, we could have also written set goal 1 1, but as you can see, this might become highly unreadable and this is not at all recommended. Finally, we will also do a disable cell to avoid the spam. Right, the next is we'll just close this if symbols, and next we want to check for Arabia. So we'll just copy paste this logic. We'll change this value to Arabia map, and in this scenario we want to set the strategy to feudal rush. So up until now you have learned that based on different maps that are loaded, how can you set the goal to different values. So if the map value will be arena, then we will set the strategy to fast castle, and if the map value is Arabia, we will set the strategy to feudal rush. Now let's see how can you use this goal in different rules as facts. So over here we will say that if the goal is, if the early strategy goal if the value is fast castle, for now we will simply add a chat message, chat to all, setting fast castle strategy. Right, and we will also use a disable self to avoid spamming. Second scenario is if our early strategy is feudal rush. Then we will set the output to of the chat to feudal rush strategy. So over here you learned how to set the goals and how to use the goals in rules as facts. Let us put this to test by heading back to our game. So here we have set up a game, and in the map that we have chosen is arena. Let us start the game. Okay, I made a mistake. I have not selected the bot. It's important to select the bot. So we select Blitzkrieg and the map is arena. Let's restart the game. As you can see over here, since we are on arena, it is the message is setting fast castle strategy. Now going back, we will restart another game and change the map to Arabia. And now we should expect the feudal rush strategy. So setting the feudal rush strategy, right? So that's pretty much it in today's video, where we learned the importance of goals. We learned how to break your overall AI strategy, modularize it, and break it into milestones using goals. We also learned how to set goals conditionally based on different map settings that you choose. And we also learned how to use goals in facts. Right, so that brings us to the end of our today's video. In the future, next video, we are going to be talking about operators that you can, different types of operators like or condition, not condition, etc., as part of your facts. And post that, here's the exciting part, right? Post the next video, we'll come to an end to our basics of AI scripting, and we will actually start building a bot where we'll actually start scouting, where we'll actually start gathering resources, different types of resources, etc. So uh, please just stay with us for the next video, and much more exciting stuff is coming your way very soon. If you like our today's video, please feel free to share your thoughts and suggestions in our comment section below. And please don't forget to subscribe to our channel to get notifications about our future videos. Thank you for watching today's video, and see you in the next one.